sent me. He says, I love StarCraft 2 and I love Chinese culture. I do bilingual casting in English and Chinese. I'm a non-native speaker that is near fluent. My major is Chinese in university. Initially, I wanted to go to IEM Shanghai as a commentator, stage host, personality that had the opportunity to go to an event in person. I ran the Twitch channel, ESL Taiwan. He's got a lot of friends on Facebook, and his Weibo's getting bigger. What can I do to convince an organization to send me to the next big esports event in China, Taiwan? You're going to have to physically go to an event yourself, man, unless you go to an event in America and start to make connections that way, because if they don't see you in person, then they're not going to be as acceptable of taking a chance on you. Nathanius was someone they took a chance with because people had known Nathanius in person by competing or going to events in person. I believe I'd worked with Nathanius over online, and I liked working with him. We commented an Alienware event together. So my first big piece of advice, if you can get to an event in person and try to make connections in person, that's the best route to take, because trying to network online, it's possible. It's completely possible because the communication is very, very quick. But the lasting value, the quality of the connection means a lot more when you can do it in person. That's my biggest note for you.
Yeah, I mean, just like even the way that me and Clutch got hired originally at MLG, it was show up in person,
Yep.
network in person, get face to face with people, and leave a good impression. And to be honest, most people I know that got hired in esports in any way, it started with them volunteering for something, and then it became like they've shown that they've done a good job. They're shown that they're reliable. Yeah. Then it becomes something you can get paid to do.
I've kind of got the flip side to that personally, just being here in Australia where there isn't as much notable content going on. I think, especially if you're in China, Enders, are you actually in China, or are you in... if you just want to post in the chat, I'll have a look in a second, and once it catches up. But if you're in an environment, and personally I kind of feel like I'm in a really good question to sort of relate to where your sort of situation at the moment, because of course, you know, China is okay, you're in the US. Well, damn, you're in a better spot than I am, buddy. Basically, let's just say, you know, if you were in a little bit of a locale that was harder to sort of connect with people, number one would obviously be the barcrafts if you can rock up. But generally, like the way that I haven't, you know, I haven't casted an MLG or actually been at a DreamHack casting or things like that, but I have done, I've done the IMC, Kesper qualifiers as well, and you know, I've done a couple of DreamHacks now. This year has actually been really good for me, but I think one of the things is to establish your path of progression. You don't want to just say, I'm going to DreamHack. You kind of want to make sure, it's kind of like, I'm sure Clutch will know about this as well, it's kind of like establishing a portfolio of work that you've done. And for me, originally I started out casting Korean replays that I had taken off a site called PlayXP, do a lot of Korean replays and then NA replays and this kind of stuff. And then I started doing a lot of local stuff as well. Once I fixed up my stream a little bit, I started casting local C clan matches and you know, stuff like that. And it's sort of, it's a very much of a progression kind of thing. Like we talked about this in regarding MMOs, but in a way it's kind of the same thing with becoming a part of esports, is that, which is kind of ironic in a way. But you can sort of grow things organically like that.
With that portfolio, you have something to back you when you do talk to people in person. Just like what I had when Dave and I met Lee and Mark from MLG. You know, they saw it was simple, but they saw the YouTube channel we had documenting Dave and myself and a friend being in Raleigh and going to the MLG events. So they saw that, okay, this guy knows how a camera works, so I got hired as a cameraman. Dave knew the game. He was a player. He got hired to be an admin. You have physical evidence to show that it's not just a piece of paper on a resume. You have the backing. And you do have the backing, because I went and just visited your channel, and you've been involved in different events. So just like Duckbill said, have that as a portfolio. And when you do have opportunities that you can do things online, if you can commentate something online, go for it, go for it, go for it. If it's not paid, you're going to have to go for it as volunteer work, because a lot of it is just not paid. But you keep,
that in particular, yeah.
You keep building that repertoire up. And Duckbill, the reason we're friends with Duckbill is not just because he's an awesome guy, because we all know that, but he sent in a request to be a commentator for the beta program for MLG. And I listened to him, and I went, oh, he's Australian, and he knows what he's talking about. And
oh, he's got an accent.
Yeah.
Get him in it.
The women are going to love him. I thought the women are going to love this. We got to get this Australian in. And that helped him. So it is so difficult, but it's just like the acting world, man. Everybody wants in, and it's going to take hard work, hustle, timing, a little bit of luck. And that's how it works. And it's going to take time. We're 3 years in, Dave, and this has been a great stepping stone for me to get in a place that I'm getting close to career-wise of where I wanted to be. But I'm not satisfied. I'm still, and you have to have that drive of like, this is fantastic, but I'm still not satisfied. I want more. I want to do more. I want to be involved with more. And it's that type of hunger that keeps people going. I mean, that's the type of hunger that keeps actors going, man. John Hamm. You know, he didn't catch his break until Mad Men, and is well into his 30s, 40s. So it takes a lot. It's all about timing and stuff.
It's also important to, depending on what you're wanting to go for, if you're wanting to be like a host or a caster, don't neglect options of doing a couple of other things that may not be in the path you actually want. Like, kind of like having a real life job. You don't necessarily get to be the CEO of a company straight away. Sometimes you have to flip some burgers starting off. I think it's really important to, if like a tournament in particular needs an admin, if they need another Wigan to help out with organizing games, keeping the players in check, you know, setting up details of all sorts of other stuff that the admins do, you can also do that as well. Like, I mean, people really love to have good admins around to help out with that kind of stuff, particularly with tournaments like this. If it's about helping out with social media, all these kinds of things, you know, make sure that you do help out with those other things as well that won't necessarily be the same as what you want to do, but they do help out in getting you noticed and sort of, you know, adding to the profile, as we've been talking about with, you know, things that you can say you've done. I've been an admin for, you know, I've been an admin for DreamHack, or I've, you know, as Clutch said, I worked the camera at MLG or something like that. And all these things add together.
Yep, they do. They do. Okay, but thanks for that question, and best of luck to you. Let's go ahead and finish out the day, gents, with the Time to Opine section, which is turning out to be my favorite section. Superhero